Hello YouTube vintage stereo collectors and restorers. So this is kind of a follow-up on this Nikko mid-60s FAM 12 tuner. So early Japanese solid state. And it's a real looker. And it's a small unit, which is kind of neat. It's got some interesting features besides the obvious AM, FM multiplex, FM mono. Here's one neat feature. This thing is very futuristic. The muting circuit works on FM and AM, which is kind of neat. So when you're tuning in AM stations, between stations, dead silence. And then a station pops up. Or you can turn it off. That's very unusual. It actually has a really cool circuit. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a second. It has AFC, a noise filter, which works more, seems to be more on FM than AM. I don't hear it kicking in. This had a few issues. It had the socket on the back. It has an interlock, was broken. Phenolic resin, I put in actually a new old stock one from a surplus store. And I've been just replacing things in it. I wanted to show you how serviceable this is. So the bottom plate comes off. You can get at every solder connection, and you can flip it back and forth or spin it around to get at stuff. Just going to show you what I put into it. Some power supply caps, of course the stereo bulb, and there's not that many caps throughout it, but you'll probably notice if this is within the picture frame, how many of these orange C458, it's actually 3 different transistors here. There's C458s, which is the bulk of them, a couple C454s, and one C460. They're all the same transistor family. The difference is the C460 has a little more voltage and current handling, but not much. This is very common to use one type of transistor throughout a unit. There weren't as many different variations back then. And a BC458 or a 2N3904 or a 2N2222 will work just great in this. As far as the caps go, they're more Elnas. A few of them were leakers too, which is, I mean this was probably built in 66, maybe 1965. So as soon as I took the lid off, I tried it out, got some power on it, and everything worked. The stereo demultiplexer was not coming on, so it was just in FM mono. I'm just going to spin this around. Let's go this way so we don't take anything up. It is running. I thought you'd like to see the lights. So this is one of these 1960s multiple board type of designs. But there's nothing wrong with that. It costs more to make it this way, but it makes it very serviceable. For instance, power supply board, and it's a regulated board. So there's actually a transistor back there that gives a constant 20 volts DC. So recap that. That was pretty easy. Very accessible. This here is the FMIF. There are actually only 2 C458s on there, a couple caps. This is the AMIF, and I think this is a sign of a better tuner design to have a separate AM and FM strip and not to share stages. I think it just works better that way. This here is actually the muting circuit and the noise circuit. So I put a few new caps on that, one new transistor. If you hear some hammering, some work going on outside, over here is the multiplexer board. And when I turned this thing on, like I say, I wasn't getting it in stereo. I saw one coil wound, the core sticking out to the top. Somebody had been adjusting the cores trying to get it kick in. But as soon as I saw those orange C458s, and there are 1, 2, 4, 5, 6 of them here, as soon as I saw that, I knew that's why it's not working. One of those transistors is bad. And I checked each one on my tester. It was this transistor over here that was causing the problem. Right beside that tuning core, that's the 38 megacycle one, I believe. I don't have a schematic for this, so it's kind of flying by the seat of my pants. But it actually makes sense. This is your audio out, and you can work it stage by stage back. It's a basic FM tuner with a few good designs. How to put it? Design features. One is the de-emphasis here. It is as good a de-emphasis circuit as in many more expensive tuners later on. Some of them cheap out on that. So what you have a tuner here with good bass, good treble. It's kind of hard to play it over a video like this, and I generally use my headphones. That way I can pick up noise. One nice thing about this tuner is it's very quiet in between stations. It has an excellent muting circuit. But once it's locked on a station, there is no filtering. So on later designs, you have a high blend circuit or whatever that minimizes the stereo separation if there's a high signal to noise ratio. This doesn't have anything like that. So a strong station, a local station, will have fantastic fidelity, as good as you could hope for, excellent stereo separation. But if you get into one that's a little bit on the fringe of the muting circuit, you actually will get a lot of noise in the stereo, a lot of like that. It's because it's going full stereo, but it's not a strong enough signal to give you a low noise floor. But that, I actually prefer that. I prefer fidelity. So I was listening to some fringe stations, like Jazz FM is right around there somewhere. It's actually coming in stereo, but it's a bit weak, it's a bit noisy. You can put the muting and the noise filter on. AFC, it doesn't help. That station I would listen to in mono. It'll be clear. I like to be able to switch when it's in mono or in stereo. Stronger stations, like, it's only got like 2 feet of wire on one of the lugs. Stronger stations are coming in 10 out of 10, and like just nice fidelity. Just sounds great. So that's a little bring you up to date on it. I haven't used any test equipment on this one except my multimeter, because once I got the demultiplexer working, I wound in that core and it started up. So somebody had been fooling with that one. That's the 19 kilohertz one, megahertz, whatever, I don't know. That one right there. Once I got that in alignment, the others just need a little bit of tweaking to get it into stereo. Most of the time, you don't need a big alignment machine, to put one of these older tuners into alignment. It's just a matter of a little bit of tweaking. Trying it on stronger stations, weaker stations, see what it sounds like. Anyway, I want to leave that with you. Thanks for watching and listening.